Hi, Amy Snook down here in sunny till Sunday when that storm hits us, South Florida in Delray Beach. And I'm so excited and honored to be here with you all today. For those who have been on many Zoom calls with me, I'm sure you are exceedingly happy to see I changed my background from my messy office and just turned it around. So finally, it only took me since March to think to do that. All right, so let's get started. I am here to talk to you today about small budgets, big solutions, and how to make the most of your network resources. And I think I'm going to surprise some people with what I actually talk about, because I think you're expecting me to talk about what to do with this money and that money, but we're going to do it different today. We're going to talk about people. Bear with me one second, because the where I have this screen is blocking my presentation. All right. So 2020 is not what any of us expected, was it? I think that's an understatement. And while it has been a sad year and there have been some tragedies, there have also been some incredible life lessons. And I'm sure most of you would feel this as well. I mean, did we not reevaluate our priorities? Did we not realize how much money we were spending on unnecessary items? That might have just been me, but that was a big realization, which I will not admit to my husband. And did we not spend more time with our families and get really organized with our home and our business? Professionally, did we not learn that we can actually work from home, that we can actually be productive, that we can sell homes without being face to face with potential buyers and sellers, right? And did we not realize that Women's Council business did not come to a screeching halt simply because we were not able to be face to face, right? In fact, and this was a big aha for me, relationships got stronger and deeper because we were able to communicate more often with our members, especially at the state level. I know President Christine Citrano, president of the Florida State Network, and I were just having this conversation. We feel like we got to know people even better and got to know people deeper because they're in their own environment, right? You're looking at my background, you may hear my dog bark and know I have dogs. So you get to know people, really get to know people. And we've learned that we can accomplish so much through technology, right? With Zoom. On real estate side, 360 tours, right? How many people added Matterport that we heard about it but never had done it before? And videos, I have never personally, I mean, I have videos for my listings, but I have never personally recorded more videos of me talking and just, wow, I got proficient at it. I'm assuming many of you had the same experience that I did. Bear with me one second on my screen. Okay, so what is the number one asset that we have to grow our Women's Council business? Our number one asset, and Sam Powell, you're gonna have to teach me because I tried to have the word people come fly in, but I couldn't figure it out, so forget it, it's all in one page. People are our number one asset. So let's talk about people, right? When people feel valued, do they not tend to want to do more? So Denora, for some reason, you are the person right in my purview, so I'm gonna look to you for feedback. How's that? When people feel appreciated, do they not tend to want to participate more? When people, bear with me guys, I'm sorry, what you're dealing with is me trying to move your beautiful faces so I can see my screen. Feel heard, they trust their leader and want to do more, right? There's nothing worse than being in an organization and you're giving feedback and it is poo-pooed as if you didn't say it and people move on with their own mission, right? When people feel respected, they will give more input and be more willing to help. If they see a benefit in it for them, what's in it for me, right? Will they not give you more? And feel they will grow through the process, they will engage more. When people feel inspired, they will move mountains. Let me also tell you, I am very comfortable if anyone takes themselves off mute to give feedback during this. I'd be thrilled for this to be somewhat interactive. So if you have something to say, let me hear you, because For many of you who've presented on Zoom with no feedback and not seeing everyone, you feel like a crazy person talking to yourself in your office, right? Okay. So, I'm having a terrible time because of my, okay. Our focus today, how to inspire your team through, sorry, Florida, you're going to hear about it again, authentic leadership. And in what ways can your team inspire, move your network forward, even with a restricted budget? So just curious, is this a little different approach than you all probably thought I was going to take today? Anybody want to take themselves off mute and share? All right, then I'll go with Stephanie shaking her head yes, and Denora shaking her head yes.
Stephanie's eating oatmeal, but
I see
yeah.
Stephanie.
No, very different and a welcome surprise.
Good. And look how much we learned about Stephanie. Stephanie eats oatmeal. These are important things through technology that we get to learn. Kathy Davis, were you going to say something or just being supportive so I could hear you?
No, just being supportive. Totally love authentic leadership.
Thank you. All right, so let's talk about authentic leadership. And just so you all know, this is the state of Florida's focus for 2021. And I would love nothing more that if many of you adopted this for 2021. So I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about authentic leadership. To my Florida friends who heard this at our leadership summit, I think you can't hear it enough, but I appreciate your bearing with me. So authentic leadership, and I'm going to read, but after that, I'm just going to talk. It's an approach to leadership that emphasizes building the leadership's legitimacy through honest relationships with followers, which value their input and are built on an ethical foundation. I thought I made up the premise of authentic leadership. I really did. But when I was Googling for a summit we had earlier in October to find an image, I came up with this awesome book. And a copy of it is right there. Dan Owolabi, Authentic Leadership, How to Lead with Nothing to Hide, Nothing to Prove, and Nothing to Lose. And I am telling you, it moved me and it helped me put in words what I was feeling but couldn't find the words for. To my Florida friends, I'll give you a little secret. I just spoke to the author, Dan Owolabi, and he's going to be speaking at our January convention. So our friends all across the country, I will make sure you get that information if you want to hear his 1-hour presentation on how to lead authentically, right? And inspire followers.
Amy,
But
can you hold the book up again?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is this not true, guys? The mistake that so many new leaders make is they try to lead like someone else and to be someone else, meaning they heard this leader, they love this leader, and now they're using that leader's words. But guess what? It might not be their personality, and you don't have to mimic someone else to be a good, true, authentic leader. You need to be yourself. So leaders aren't born, 1 second, they are made, and they are made just like anything else through hard work. So what are some of the characteristics of authentic leadership? Well, first and foremost, integrity, right? Do what you say you're going to do. Lead with vision. Lead from the heart. Lead from the heart. Really get to know your people and understand your people. Be consistent. And I mean this, whether you're eating oatmeal, Stephanie, out for drinks with girlfriends or boyfriends, or in front of your Women's Council network, you should be the same person. When you are not being authentic. And if you think people don't see through it, you are mistaken. Be straightforward. Doesn't mean be mean, but be straightforward. Be honest. Do the right thing. And keep in mind, you may need to make some difficult decisions. Authentic leadership focuses on how we do it. Does that make sense to everyone? Continuing on, I love this. Understand this. I may be in charge, but I don't always have to know what to do. The mistake so many leaders make is they think they have to have an answer right then and there when they're put on the spot and asked a question. Guys, that is a mistake. If you don't 100% know that answer, your answer is what? I don't know, but I will find out and I will get back to you. And then by gosh, you get back to them so you don't lose credibility. I may be in charge, but I don't have all the answers to the point. I may be in charge, but I am not the smartest person in the room, other than those of us who are smart enough to be on this call today, right? We don't have to be the smartest person in the room, and it is okay. Okay. You need to lead as if you have nothing to hide, nothing to prove, and nothing to lose. Authentic leaders are constant learners, and they don't hide that fact. I don't know, but I will find out. I don't know. I'm not a QuickBooks expert. Let me ask my resource, right? Think about in our real estate business or whatever field you're in. You don't need to have all the answers. You need to have a trusted group of I said survivors. That's nice. Of advisors. Okay. There is a big difference between the desire to lead and your desire to be seen as a leader. Just because you have the title, does that mean automatically people will follow you? We all know that does not. Well, guys, welcome to True Leadership. And I'm curious, with a raise of hands, how many people on this call are stepping into a leadership position for the first time? Okay, and I see hands. So you have given up the dream of an easy and comfortable life. Let me share that with you. Don't want to scare you, but you may lose money on an event. You may lose friends who don't like a decision to make, and you may make embarrassing mistakes. We've all made them. People may talk about you. Let me interject myself here and just say this. Let's be real. People will talk about you. Surrender and realize that you have nothing to lose. This is authentic leadership. So another thing that really spoke to me in the book, and I promise we're going to get to how you can use this for your growing your network on a limited budget. Remember this, we author our own stories. The story you tell about yourself and the trial and tribulations tells more about who you are than the actual trial and tribulation, right? Learn from each crucible and keep moving. You may try to hide your flaws, but know this, they've seen your flaws, right? My team knows that if I am texting you and I am dictating, there are a million typos and bloopers in there. We could sit here and tell stories, all of us, from bloopers we've made on right, dictating text. That is not my forte, right? And guys, if you're not talking, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself because I hear some background noise, if you don't mind. Darcy, I don't want to call you out, but can you mute, please? Darcy Mantell, thanks. Okay, I muted Darcy. Where am I? Understand, embrace, and expose your weakness at the right time, in the right way. Your weakness loses the power to be a weapon against you, right? And here's the other thing, guys, as leaders in 2020, 2021, in the future, do not run away from conflict. Lean into it. The mistake that so many leaders make is they run away when there's conflict or they don't handle it head on. It will get away from you. As you're leading your networks, as you're leading your real estate team, your business, whatever it might be, think about this for the people that you are leading as well as yourself. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. I love that. That just spoke to me. So, all right, my Florida friends, you've heard this mantra. I love this. This spoke to me. So for those of you stepping up to a leadership position, and for those on the call, I would assume that many of you are stepping into a local network president role for 2021, which is why this topic spoke to you. I want you to remember this, and I really want you to listen. No matter what anyone says, just show up and do the work. If they praise you, show up and do the work. If they criticize you, show up and do the work. If no one notices you, just show up and do the work. Just keep showing up, doing the work, and leading the way. Lead with passion, fuel with optimism, have faith, manage hope, be stubborn, fight the good fight, refuse to give up, ignore the critics, believe in the impossible, show up, do the work. You'll be glad you did. True grit leads to true success. Before I leave this page, anybody have a thought or comment that they want to share? I'm telling you, when you're having a bad day, this is a mantra that would be a great thing to have on your wall. And of course, it came from the book.
I printed it and actually have it on my desk.
I love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kathy. All right. So guys, why does your leadership style matter so much? Oh gosh. If you develop an army of motivated, trusted individuals, all working towards the same common goal, what will happen? You will achieve, if not blow out, your goal. So how can this motivated team help you accomplish your goals or your team's goals for 2021? All right, so let's talk about our areas of focus here. We're going to talk about how this motivated team can help you with events, meeting subjects, your location of your events, running of your events, recognizing dignitaries, that oh so stressful part of the process, right? Protocol, membership, including enticing top producers, quickly acclimating and indoctrinating to new members. I should have picked simpler words. I forgot when you go to present and you're using these big words and get tongue-tied. New member orientation, mentors or ambassadors, ensuring current members feel welcome and valued. A leadership bench, right, for training. Strategic partners, ensuring they benefit from the relationship. Is that not an exceedingly important part of our lives at our local networks and state? Community outreach and building your brand locally through community awareness, social media, etc. So these are the topics we're going to talk about. If there's a topic that I didn't approach here that someone wants me to talk about, then throw it out and I'll make sure that we do. All right, let's move on to the first. Events, meetings, speakers, and topics. I want you all to understand this. This is not a taskless item. And let me explain what I mean by that. This is not, let me just pick subjects. Let me check the box that I have subjects for the full year for events or so forth. This requires, and I beg you and implore you to take that proverbial step back and listen to your members, evaluate what's gone well, what hasn't. This is a strategic initiative and probably one of the most important that you will have for the year. Develop a committee, and I do think the local network presidents should be part of this committee. Find some strategic thinkers who can think out of the box and think big. I think about in 2014, when I was local network president of the Greater Palm Beach County Network here in South Florida, I tapped someone on the shoulder and asked her to partner with me on the speakers and the events, right? And I had all these ideas that I truly thought were amazing. Like, I was so proud to tell her. And sitting in this meeting, she literally looked at me and she's like, "You don't think big enough." I said, "I'm sorry." She said, "You do not think big enough. You are limiting your network and your thoughts." Well, I was stunned. I didn't talk for a second, which in my world is a big deal, right? But she was right. I was not thinking big enough. And I am here to tell you, she picked up the phone and called people who I thought would never take our call. And she got speakers that are big and huge. And a lot of them got them for free. It was really fascinating to me. So what topics? Poll your members, poll non-members. I want to say that again, poll non-members. Poll people in the industry, your potential future members. What do they want to hear about? Do not repeat the same subjects, have the same events that your board has, that other organizations have, because then you're repeating the same old, same old. Find a niche and fill it. WCR.org has excellent ideas as well. Other networks have had other very successful events. Read your community papers, read the newspaper. What's happening? What do people want to hear about? Do not get hung up. And I'm watching so many people getting hung up on in-person versus virtual. Do we know next year what it's going to be? We do not. Does it matter? I do not believe it does. Pick your subjects. Know that you might have to pivot from in-person to virtual or a hybrid meeting like we just did down here in South Florida. Do not get hung up on that. That is a limiting belief. Pick the speakers and the subjects that you want to reach your members and then figure out the rest. Some speakers charge to speak. Hopefully it's in your budgets, but if it's not, or it's an expensive speaker, guys, get creative. Don't let this be a limiting belief. If a speaker's already coming to town or already speaking with another organization, can you piggyback? You know, we have learned that we can do hybrid meetings. You can have some members in a room and you can have your speaker on a huge screen via Zoom. Make something fun for your members to do when they're sitting there socially distanced, right? So ensure it's fun. Any questions or comments before I move on? Moving. Location of events, another limiting belief, guys. There are venues that want realtors to come to them. They will move mountains to get you there, right? What will we as realtors do for these venues? Guys, you can have a whole program wrapped around when you're at these venues, how you get these venues publicity. Have everyone, when they walk through the door, check in to the venue and your event. Create a hashtag for that event. Have everyone do a post, have a contest sitting in the room. Exposure for venues to realtors who will bring clients is huge. Strategically set your venues. Please trust me when I say, when you are repeating the same venues year after year after year, they get stale, and your members, they may come because it's convenient, but I'm telling you, a lot of people will come if you're at a new venue that they want to see, right? A new builder, a new community, a new hotel, people will come. Create a committee, right? Agents who want to develop a relationship with certain venues, community builders will raise their hand very quickly, but who else? National affiliate and strategic partners who want to develop a relationship with realtors, they will jump and move mountains on this committee. What other than finding the venue would this committee do, guys? They would ensure the day of your event is an A+. It is mortifying to me when I walk into a local network meeting or any meeting for that sake, and the people planning the meeting are running around with chickens with their heads cut off. Guys, you get there early, you get the room set up, and you are there to greet your guests when they walk in the door. You are there to greet future members and make everyone feel so special. We talked about authentic leadership. Be there for your members. This committee can do a pre-walkthrough at the venue. How many times have you come into an event and there's no flag and you are mad scrambling or holding up your cell phone? Shame on us when we weren't there to do a pre-walkthrough and make sure the venue knew what we were expecting. Let's talk about it one step further. I want to tell you a quick story. In 2014, when I was president, we went to a venue and this hotel does not own a flag. I think that's egregious in and of itself, but they didn't have a flag. Well, guess what? My father-in-law, who's a World War II veteran who had a flag, what do you think we did for that meeting? We wheeled him in with a wheelchair, holding the American flag. I am telling you, we had people in tears and we had members join that day. They were so moved and touched. Reaching your audience is critical, okay? Members arrive early, as I said, to ensure everything's in place. Keep this in mind. When you go to a new community, there are realtors in that community who are not women's council members. Is that typically something that could be a possibility? Yes. Have your marketing team, have your membership committee, whomever it might be, reach out and invite these realtors, guys. Invite them free of charge to come to your event. Expose them to the power of women's council.
I couldn't remember. I've studied Robert's rules, but it's been a while. So
Karen, are you talking to us? Karen?
Cindy, can I ask a question?
I don't know who's speaking. Yes. Is someone asking us a question? Okay, I'm going to keep moving then. Okay. Sorry, guys, a chat just popped up. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. How you run your events shows your members your attention to detail and how you run a business. I am begging you not to take this lightly. You're going to have future members in the room who are watching every move that you and your team do. One great idea is have your line, your state line, have a strategic partner at each event when we're back to face at the door to welcome these people. Make your members and guests feel welcome. That impression you leave can be lasting. Have your dignitary list ready. There is nothing worse than, oh, I see so-and-so in the audience and so-and-so. Guys, that is not having your ducks in a row. In Florida, we just developed a template, our protocol committee did, that can be used. If anyone outside of Florida wants it, send me an email and we will get it to you. Be organized, be succinct from start to finish, as you would for any meeting and running your own business, okay? All right, let's talk about members. So as an authentic leader, when you're getting to know your members and when you are demonstrating to your members what the process is once they come on board, what feeling do you think these new members will have? They will feel good. They will feel welcome. Trust me when I say this. But to do this, you need a process. Raise a hands. How many people on this call have a process in their network for when a new member joins? All right, I love it. Some of you do. How many of you have a foolproof process with checks and balances? Good.
I do now.
Some of you say yes, but I'm seeing some people stare at me with not sure what you're talking about. So let's continue on. Look, some people use a CRM, customer relation manager, like we do for our own businesses, and some networks are using a spreadsheet. I don't care what you use as long as you have a process. I'm going to talk about both. So what are some of the milestones that you have for your check-in or for your process of indoctrinating new members? I'm going to share mine and then I'm going to ask you guys to jump in. Does somebody have the responsibility to pick up the phone and make a phone call, whether it's the president, director of membership, to this new member and welcome them? Not just an email, I mean a physical call. Is there a packet of paperwork that you drop off at their office, their home, when we're not dealing with quarantine? I can assure you a strategic partner would welcome the opportunity to walk in warmly to an office or drop something off at someone's home. Are your new members assigned an ambassador? Do you have a pool of members who are willing to serve as ambassadors that would be connected with this new member, to meet them at the door for their first event or two, to sit down with them and introduce them to other members, encourage them how and where to get involved, and be there to answer questions? Is part of your process that you invite and have a new member attend a new member orientation? Do you track that they actually went through that? Are they announced at the new meeting, at a meeting, whether it's in Zoom or in person? I would like to welcome, I don't know, Kathy Davis, because you're sitting in front of me as a new member. We're so excited to have you. How do you think Kathy Davis feels in that moment? Wonderful. How do you think other people who are not yet members sitting in the room, do you think they take notice? I promise you they do. Have we announced on social media? We should. So these are the type of things that you should have in a process that someone needs to manage. Local network presidents, do you need to be the one doing all this? You better not be the one doing all this. Would you be the person inspecting this process? Maybe. Maybe your director of membership owns it, but you inspect what you expect. I am telling you, if you acclimate a new member and they have a positive experience, do you think it's possible they may tell other people who are not members how awesome our organization is? You want to grow your organization, your bottom line, deliver value, and get people sitting in seats that see value. Does anybody have anything on their process that I didn't mention that you might want to share for when you bring in new members?
A new member, like checklist, like a call.
Wonderful. Absolutely. A call to a new member. Thank you, Rebecca. Anyone else?
I also added to our spreadsheet to recognize guests so that we can follow up with them as well to get them to be a new member.
Wonderful. Our future members. Does anyone else have anything that they do for new members that they want to share with the team?
We do an interview with our new member. I was a new member chair for a bit, and so we would interview them to find out where we can best use their gifts.
That's awesome. Love that, Debbie. Thank you for sharing.
And also pairing them potentially with a mentor program. So you can develop a mentor program, and you can get to know your members and ask your members, do they want to be mentors or mentees? Because there's a lot of top producers that you could potentially pair with maybe newer agents that are looking to grow in leadership, looking to grow in sales. So pairing them up and asking and getting to know your membership in that interview that, like she just mentioned, that's another thing you can do.
Debbie, what I love about, Rebecca, thank you. You're right on. Debbie, what I love about what you said, and going back to our theme of authentic leadership, you are now taking the time to show that new member that you care, that you want to get to know them. And that makes such a difference as they're evaluating where they want to spend their time and money. So one other thing that I've seen some networks do is identify our guests or future members at the event. Maybe have a separate sign in for them at the event, whether on Zoom or in person, so you can follow up with these future members, these prospects, right? Maybe to the point, I think Kathy said that, welcoming them at your meeting. Making your new members feel welcome and helping them quickly acclimate is a key to your success. So how do you track this? Probably there's 97 methods, but I'm going to share 2. A good old-fashioned spreadsheet, right? I mean, some people are just spreadsheet people. I love spreadsheets, everything I do, and I'm sure my team on here is laughing because everything I have is spreadsheets because my mind thinks that way, right? So a new member comes in and you have a checklist. That's great. Maybe it's on your shared drive so everyone can see it. But here's another way, and you'll hear me say this a lot. We need to run our Women's Council Network businesses as businesses. I watch and I fear that at times we just kind of throw stuff together, but we don't have a business plan. We don't have we have a budget. We don't have a budget that we manage and really lead to and stick with. We don't have a system for prospecting, right, to those future members, reaching out to people who could be prospects. So how do we do it in our real estate world? The successful ones, I would venture to say, use a CRM, customer relation manager. We'll use it for our businesses, I hope, right? So why not use it for your Women's Council network? You can track each member and future member. You can have action plans of what the steps are that whomever runs this in the morning, once a week, every day, whatever it might be, comes on and says, oh, time to reach out to this member and get feedback, time to call for this, have their birthdays, have the anniversaries when they joined, have their renewal dates. There is so much you can do that will not take a ton of time when you're running your business as a business, right? So action plans similar to what we do for real estate, right? So like our have-mets or just different action plans. And that's a whole other class that I teach. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but you can also do mass emails through the CRM. And I know a lot of you do it today through MailChimp and Constant Contact, but to have it all in one place makes you more efficient and effective. Here's one that a couple networks are using. It's called joinit.org, and it's membership management software. Say that 5 times fast. Membership management software. So how do you make each and every member feel important? You recognize their milestones, right? Do you know each member? Authentic leadership. Understand what motivates them, what inspires them, and create a program around their passion. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I keep going back to 2014, but that's my year of many lessons, and they weren't all positive. I will say that. I learned some very valuable lessons, but I'm only sharing the positive ones on this call. No, I'm kidding. If I think of a negative one, I'll share it. But one of the things, I sat down with a member who was a somewhat disgruntled member, didn't know if she should review. She was at that time a local affiliate, right? We don't really have that anymore. We have national affiliates and strategic partners. But I watched her at the meetings. She was a fabulous networker. When she got involved, she was so gung-ho, but I watched her energy level just wane, right, at the meetings. So I took her to breakfast and we talked, and she was able to share what her disappointment was, what she liked. And I quickly realized that she had a very distinct skill set. She was great at reading people. She was great at marketing. She was great at developing a program. So I didn't go in with a position in mind, but what came out of that position was, do you think you would be interested in help developing a top producer award program for members and to attract new members? She was so excited and so motivated. Hold on, I'm going to step away from my camera for 1 second to get some. That she developed the Blue Diamond Circle and this amazing, beautiful award that was given to people that were admitted. And the criteria was minimum revenue for a year, minimum number of transactions, had to be a Women's Council member, has to be a member of the board. And there were a couple different tiers, right? And when we did this, people joined. And I'm going to talk about that in 1 second, because Pensacola, and I'm sorry that I'm just referring to Florida, but of course, I'm familiar with Florida, being president-elect for the state of Florida and a member since 2002. So hold that thought, and I'm going to talk more about this top producer panel. For existing members, really deep dive in training and networking and help your members grow. I want to tell you what I mean by that. You know how we go to conventions or we do presentations, and don't cringe when I say this, but we throw up on our members with tons of information and then we expect that they got it and they go implement it in their networks. How do they know if they're doing it wrong in their network meetings when they leave the state? They don't, unless you're in the room to tell them. How do you know that they are growing and capturing what you're teaching them? When I'm saying to you deep dive, I mean get uncomfortable, ensure your members are uncomfortable, meaning roll up your sleeves and really train your members. You're teaching them to speak publicly. Guess what? Plan to role play, plan to have them speak, give feedback. If we're building leaders, guys, build leaders. Don't just talk about it, build leaders, right? We just had our summit and our newly appointed district vice presidents were tasked with presenting. So they each had 5 minutes to do a PowerPoint. And I know some of them are on this call, but guess what? We didn't set them loose to day of event to present. We made them present to the state line. Was it fun? I can assure you it was not. Was it important? I truly believe it is. How do you help people grow? You roll up your sleeves, jump in the trenches with them, and help teach them skills. Does that make sense? Someone gives me a thumbs up, please. Even if you don't agree, still give me a thumbs up. All right. So we talked about the top producer panel. Thanks, Debbie. I want to show this with you. And I don't know if my Pensacola network's on this call, but they have an incredible program for top producers called the Top Gun, right? Because Pensacola Top Gun Academy. But anyway, they take out an ad in, I don't know if it's newspaper, magazine, all of the above. I know the Greater Palm Beach Blue Diamond took it out in the paper and they showcased all the award winners. Greater Palm Beach went so far as to have a logo that when people are admitted into the Blue Diamond Circle, they can use it on their business cards. They have a website. What is the value of that? Realtor members, you're sitting at a listing appointment. Part of your listing presentation is, I was admitted into the Blue Diamond Circle. I'm a member of the Top Gun. Does your seller know what you're talking about? Of course not. It is your job to make it a big deal and use it so that you stand out from the competition. That's how you use this Trojan horse to help grow your network. One thing that I always get as feedback from people when I talk about this is they say top producers aren't always active members. Okay, I promise you if there's value for them, they will come. Will they come to every event? Probably not. Find what impacts them and bring it to them. Okay, moving on. Strategic partners. Guys, I swear I think we missed the boat on this in so many regards. We bring in strategic partners and we assume they know how to get business. And when they don't get business, they are disgruntled. Would you agree with that? Okay, so let's talk about strategic partners for your network. Have you refreshed your 2021 strategic partner package offerings? We have learned valuable lessons in 2020, guys. What if we're virtual all year? I don't think we will be, but what if we are? You still need to bring value to your strategic partners. Figure out how to do it. How do we get them maximum visibility? But what do you expect from them? Look, we've had people that have joined any organization. They do a sponsorship for an event and they think because they've given money and because they show up one time, they're getting business. We all know it just doesn't work that way. Right? So have you considered having a liaison or a strategic partner leader? Someone in your network who is the advocate for the strategic partners. It is their job to bridge that gap, right? You as president, guys, can't be the one to do that, right? Your job is to lead, to inspect, not to do everything. So someone who works to ensure that the strategic partners are given opportunities and that you fulfill everything you said you were going to do for them. Guys, don't assume your strategic partners know how to network. Half of them have absolutely no clue. Maybe you need to teach a couple classes to your strategic partners. Maybe they need to role play. Teach them the skills for them to earn business, and they will come back year after year. Part 2 of that is, please don't open the door to unlimited strategic partners. It is not the way to do it. You are watering down your program, and you are devaluing the value, I don't know how to say that, of being a strategic partner. If they're limited spots, they're coveted. Then when it's coveted and you fill those spots, teach them and help them grow their business. People will be fighting the following year to be your strategic partner for your network. So remember, the more successful your national affiliate strategic partner is, the more they will participate in the program. They would be great members to be on your committee for finding venues, finding speakers, fundraising. Get them involved, because then they get to work hand in hand with realtors, develop relationships, and what happens? They get business. It isn't rocket science, but sometimes we don't slow down enough to really make sure it works. Community outreach, show of hands. And I say that because I can only see 4 people, so I'm only looking at 4, but I'm trusting that everyone's raising their hands. How many people have a community outreach or a charity type program in their local network? Show of hands? Okay. Some, doesn't look like everyone. So bear with me one second. I want to glance at the chat. Okay. We are very fortunate in our careers, and I feel like that as realtors, to be successful. And I feel, my opinion, world according to Amy, because I'm the speaker, that it is our obligation to give back to our communities, whether it's from our own real estate business or from our women's council business. As you know, we're a not-for-profit organization, so we don't stroke checks to charities, but that doesn't mean we can't support a cause, right? So find a local cause to support. Again, doesn't have to be monetary. In the state of Florida for 2021, we are supporting an initiative called NISI Worldwide. That is the name of the organization. And their job is to bring awareness for human trafficking. Well, guess what? Florida's going to wrap our arms around this organization and help get the word out and help people look for signs so we can save some souls. That is impactful for them, and it is a wonderful feel good for us. Selfishly, from a women's council perspective, you better believe we're going to do a press release about our support of NISI Worldwide. Why would we do that? It gets visibility for NISI Worldwide, but it also gets people to understand who we are, right? We're not and don't cringe, but we've all heard it, ladies who lunch. I hate that. We are an organization building leaders and giving back to our communities, okay? Is there a member in a local charity that is passionate? I'm sorry, is there a member in your local network who's involved in something that they're passionate about? How did we get to NISI Worldwide? I don't know if Terry Mahoney's on this call from Pensacola, but I heard Terry invited me to a meeting and her passion was screaming through the phone. And I said, I am intrigued, tell me more, right? So be verbal and vocal and public about your support. Maybe you have a banner at each one of your meetings with the organization that you're supporting. Again, guys, it doesn't need to be monetary. It can be in many other ways, right? Maybe you invite a speaker from that organization. We've invited someone from NISI Worldwide to our January convention. We want them to educate us. We want them to tell how we can help, okay? Any questions, comments on community outreach before I move on? I see some comments in the chat, but any question that would benefit the group? Okay, moving on. Building your brand. Building your brand and getting women's council, locally does not have to be an expensive proposition. Get involved locally. Your community is doing a food drive, have your network support the food drive. Take a lot of pictures. Have a drop off at your meeting for collection, then go take it, take pictures, put on social media, do a press release. How much money did you spend to do all that? I would venture to say probably close to zero. Find out what's going in your community. Do you have someone who's in a position in your network who's responsible for letting you know about things going on in the community, right? There's a blood drive, that whatever it might be. Right? I think about in March and April when COVID started and we were just all scared to death, that someone arranged to have just one of those sessions at the hospital to thank all the first responders and the hospital workers. And I went with my son in my golf cart and I didn't know what to expect. I was scared to death to go. And there was a picture of my son holding up this sign thanking them, and I started crying. And I'm not a crier. It caught me off guard. It was so emotional. But I wouldn't have gone if someone didn't post on social media to support our local community, right? So look for what's out there, support it, and share it on social media, share it on your members' sites. There is a way for your community to understand what you are about without you spending money to do that. Does that make sense? Yes, show of hands, thumbs up, something. Thanks. Guys, do a press release for your incoming officers for 2021. What a great way to get them out there in the press. That helps them, that helps their real estate business, right? And why do we do this? Because we want to better ourselves personally and professionally, and we want to give back. Do press releases throughout the year focused on leadership skills. You know, when we were doing committees for Florida for 2021, I don't know if Marie Gregorio's on this call, but she cringing if she on. I asked her to be the chair of this, and she said, oh my God, no, I don't even do this for my business. I'm scared to death. I'm not good at this. Nope, can't do it. Can't do communication. All right, can I think about it? 24 hours later, I get a text. I decided because I'm scared to death, I need to do this. I will agree to be your chair. I don't know if Marie's on this call. My phone's not blowing up yelling at me, so that's a good sign. But what is the important aspect of that? What have we now done for Marie Gregorio? We have caused her to step out of her comfort zone. But do you believe that I'm just going to leave her to do this on her own? You better believe I am not. As an authentic leader, we are going to make sure she has the resources to learn and be successful. Does that make sense? Okay. Shape how your local community sees you. Shape how the industry sees you. We just did interviews because Florida's doing a strategic plan with what we call thought leaders in the community. I was blown away by the feedback of some of these non-women's council members of who they think we are and what they think we do. Shame on us that we haven't shaped the story better, but what a fabulous opportunity that we have to shape the view, right? So you can have this as part of your communication committee. You can have a community outreach. You can have technology, or you can have all of the above and they all work together. Make sense? Okay. Moving on. Press releases. Now, on Women's Council, WCR.org, they have templates for press releases. You do not have to create this from scratch. But who would also be a great member to have is in your network? Someone from a local newspaper, publication. They might be a great member, right? They can get in front of your realtors because maybe they want to get realtors ads, realtors listings, realtors writing articles, and your benefit from it, they can write press releases and get them published. Okay, so use a press release template on WCR.org. Bring someone in who has expertise, hire a PR person. I don't care how you do it, just do it. Don't be afraid to publicize your network and events, and do not overthink this. Just do it. Okay, tips and ideas for some content. And I took this, remember I mentioned our district vice presidents had to do present to the state line, and then they presented to the networks. Well, some of these next slides I stole with permission from them. This was created, and I'm so proud of our district vice presidents. So I think this was, oh, forgive me, I can't remember whose slide this is. Jump on if this was yours, but, I think it was Erica Price. So ongoing concern and content. Be sure to present Women's Council Realtors as an ongoing established organization. Provide pertinent and important content. Share about upcoming events, right? There might be events that people from the community can come, not just your members. Make your local network a source of information, something that the community can count on, especially if you've wrapped your arms around a local cause, to be able to give updates on what you're doing and how the local community can support it. I'm telling you, they'll watch you guys. And don't forget to showcase your members, their successes, and guess what else? Your strategic partners. Right? If you're supporting a local drive for the hungry and you're having members drop stuff off, maybe you have a strategic partner deliver it and you take a picture and then they can promote it on their own page. Have you just not done something to provide value to your strategic partner? You have. There are so many ways to help so many people, but we run so fast. This is why it is November. I would hope, don't cringe if you haven't, that you would have been working on your business plan since June. But if you haven't, head down for the month of November and get your business plan in place, get ideas from others, and make sure you have a succinct business plan that you can use for the year, knowing there are going to be some changes and some things, that you're going to have to change through the year, but something you can leave for those following you that they can add to and grow, and you have a working document for the business of your network. All right, so for those of you who keep saying to me, I can't budget because I don't know if we're in person. I can't bring in speakers because I don't know if we're in person. Stop it. Don't say that. No more limiting belief. I would suggest you plan as if we're face-to-face and have a plan B if we're remote. But either way, for your budgeting purposes, budget as if you're in person because it will be more expensive. If you pivot to social media, virtually, you won't have spent the money, and that is okay. Identify a list of venues for the year. You might not end up going to all of them. Great. You'll hand it to the president for 2022, right? We share with people coming up behind us. Identify a list of subjects for the year, topics. It doesn't matter that you don't have a speaker for August. You know what you want to present topic-wise? Great. Write it down, share it with your members. You can find someone to present on that topic. Let your members know the subjects, the events, the dates, so they can time block. But what else are you demonstrating to your members when you can give them a succinct plan for the year? That you know how to run your business. You are running the business of your local network business. You can clearly articulate the plan and take action. If your speaker for August ends up not being able to speak, is it the end of the world? I am here to tell you it is not. Find another speaker, even if it's another subject, and what your members will see is, this is being recorded. Let me find a different way to say this. Stuff happens, and you found a solution. Do we not have that in our home lives, in our work, in Women's Council? Sure we do. We can't crumble when something goes wrong. You take that proverbial step back, figure it out, find a solution, and run fast as you can to implement it. That is how you demonstrate leadership. Plan the specifics of your meetings and events, maybe quarterly, if it intimidates you to do it annually, right? Know that they may end up being virtual. It's okay, right? You may end up doing some in person and some virtual. Rebecca Carmona, just giving you some kudos here. I mean, how she dealt with me for this October retreat that we had when all these people actually wanted to come. I wasn't expecting that, but we also had people virtually. She worked with an AV company, and boy, did we make it happen with wide angle cameras and screen. And even our remote people, when they had a question, they were on the screen and they asked the question. They were in the room, even though they weren't physically in the room. Do not let what's happening in the world limit to what you can accomplish for your network. So where do you start? All right, this is what we did in Florida for the president-elect boot camp. We call it the good, the bad, and the ugly analysis. What does that mean? We have a document and we're glad to send it to you, but it isn't rocket science. Go through each area of your Women's Council business and evaluate where you are. Talk about what's working, what's not working. Don't be afraid to say, oh my gosh, this was awful. It's okay. You can't fix things until you talk about them honestly. Right? So how many members do you have? Have your membership been waning? Granted, many have during COVID, and I get it, but guess what? People are having busy real estate lives right now. People are successful. People still need to grow. People still need to have a place that they feel comfortable and to grow and hone their skills. Don't let that being a limited belief. Don't have a lot of top producers. What program does that jump out that maybe you can develop this year? A top producer. Don't have a lot of strategic partners, have too many strategic partners. Evaluate, take the step back and evaluate it and be honest. Remember, I shared with you in 2014 that my director of events and speakers said to me, I was being too narrow-minded. I wasn't thinking big enough. I didn't like it in the moment, but I appreciated her feedback. It did change the landscape for the next year, okay? What do you do after you do the proverbial step back? You build your strategic business plan and your budget. You don't know how to do a budget? There are 9 million other people who do. Raise your hand and ask for help. Strategic business plans. Our state said, can you give me a template? And we said, no, we cannot. Because if I give you a template, how are you doing it? My style. And what do we talk about with authentic leadership? It needs to be your style. It doesn't mean we can't coach you on what needs to be included, but people think differently. I talked about, I'm an Excel girl, right? If you're texting me 11 million things with all these ideas, oh my God, my eyes are glazing over. If you send it to me in a spreadsheet, you're speaking my language, little dorky, but yet nevertheless. So whatever speaks to you, I will tell you that at our January convention, Jim DeLizia, if most people know his name, he is coming in to teach our members how to build a strategic business plan. We'd welcome anyone from all around the country if you want to zoom into this session. The more the merrier, and we'll be sure to post it and share the information. Okay? Create your legacy, guys. Create your legacy. Utilize the Women's Council model. Our national team spent a heck of a lot of time and many years creating the local network model, the state model. It took a lot of time to process. Oh, Debbie, I love that. Hello, little one. Can't see Debbie with a child on her lap. You do not need to do the same old, same old. Think outside the box, how to deliver value, communicate, and interact with your members. Please be authentic, be strategic, be open to hearing feedback, good or bad, and create opportunities for your networks, for your members. Spend time speaking with your members and hear their ideas. One-on-one. I don't mean a Zoom call, let everyone jump in. I'm telling you, do one-on-one meetings with some of your members, if not all of your members, right? Listen to what excites them. Listen. Don't talk the whole time. Listen. Listen when their body language changes because they're excited, when their voice intonation changes because they're excited, and then develop a role or find a role to place them in that will utilize their passion. Because when they're passionate, are you going to have to push them? No, you might have to be throttling them back a little bit. Is the opposite. Create your business plan that will be the foundation for the future leaders of your network and your success in next year. Will you create this business plan and never look at it again during the year? I hope not, because you will learn lessons, you will hone it, and you will continue to create it. It should be a living, breathing document that survives your year as president. Can I read this again? Because I do think it goes hand in hand with everything we talked about. Is that okay? Or should I just skip it? I'm going to read it. You can tune me out. I'll never know. It's Zoom. No matter what anyone says, just show up and do the work. If they praise you, show up and do the work. If they criticize you, show up and do the work. If anyone wants to come off mute and read with me, it would just make my day. If no one notices you, just show up and do the work. Just keep showing up.
Keep showing up, doing the
Doing
work.
the work and leading the
leading
way.
Lead the way.
Lead with
Lead
passion.
passion.
Fuel up with
optimism.
optimism.
Have
Have
faith.
faith. Maintain hope.
Maintain
hope.
Be stubborn.
Stubborn.
Fight,
Fight
the good fight.
good fight.
Refuse to give up.
Give up.
Ignore the critics. Believe in the impossible. Show up.
Show up.
Do the work.
Do the work.
You'll be glad you did.
Glad you did.
True gift leads to
Success.
to say, you guys, I mean, I'm embarrassed to admit this, got a little tears in my eyes. That touched me. That was awesome. And here's the thing, guys. Ooh, we're in this together. I think sometimes we forget, right? Real estate and being a leader in Women's Council can be a bit lonely at times. You're sitting in your own office. You're getting beaten up by clients. You're getting beaten up by members. But here's the thing. You are not alone. We just don't raise our hands fast enough to ask for help. I worry that we fear if we don't know something, it is seen as a weakness and we're scared to escalate to our district vice presidents, to our state line, to each other. Shame on us for not realizing that is where our growth will come from. That is our true opportunity to grow ourselves and to help others. You cannot do this alone. Paige Brewer, are you on this call? Whether she is or she isn't. I have called her 97 times in the past 3 days as we're working on a couple projects because I needed to proofread something and she promised she'd be available. Denora, Charmaine, Andrew, Christine, our leadership team.
I'm on the call, Amy. I'm on the call. I had to unmute myself.
It wasn't a test, my friend. I was giving you kudos. And wanted to say thank you. But to my whole leadership team, I am driving them crazy as we're trying to knock out some of these initiatives. But here's the thing, we are in this together. And across the country, we are in this together. Don't give up, fight the good fight, and get ready for a great year. With that said, I'm going to open it up for any questions or comments that anyone wants to share. Patty?
Hi, Amy. What a great session. Thank you so much. And I love that you had us all read that together because it really helped me to feel a part of it. And it reminds me of one of my favorite sayings that says, no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, and show up.
Love it.
For that. What a great session. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Do you guys remember those, like, they probably still have them, but those motivational posters, and they had with the lion and the, I don't know, something about whether you're a lion or something, just get up. Do anybody know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Does anyone know that can say the word? So I had it hanging on the wall in my first office ever, back in my corporate America days, and someone stole it off the wall. I need to buy a new one, but that motivated me. I've been trying to find that. So if anyone knows that saying, tell me. But who else? Carolyn, you unmuted yourself. Did you have something to share? Did I just scare you to death that you unmuted? Okay. Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Any words of wisdom for each other? Any questions, any comments?
Amy, this is Linda Murray. I'm out of Fredericksburg. I'm a spanking brand new member. I mean, literally like my second week, I got to come to this. It's been wonderful.
Wait,
And
hold on, 1 second. Everyone take yourself off mute. Let's welcome Linda, because I think that's really important.
Welcome, Linda.
Welcome, Linda.
you.
So happy to have you.
This has been so motivating for me. I've had some family problems, and this has just like brought me back to the world. But one thing that I want to mention, and you did put this in your presentation, always do the right thing. Always, always. And I would just recommend adding that to your authentic leadership list, because to me, if you always keep that there working with your client base or members of the group, I think that's what really keeps you in that leadership position.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, and we've all been there, we had to make a tough decision. We're sitting in front of a room and you're forced to make a decision, and you have this conversation going in your head. Oh my God, they're going to be mad. I'm going to lose friends. This one's support me. This one's not. What should you do at the end of the day? The right thing. And the right thing is what, and no one can say what the right thing is. It's what speaks to you for you being authentic and you being consistent in any role that you are in, right? You're going to lose friends. Some people aren't going to like you. Some people are going to be ugly to you. Guess what? It's going to happen. And it's
you'll
okay,
sleep well at night.
right? But then you call your friends, or you meet your girlfriends or boyfriends or spouse, and you go have a drink and you forget about it. Or maybe that's just my thing, but it works. Anybody have anything else they want to say or add?
Amy, I'd just like to say that the training that you have given us here in Florida is tremendous. I've actually taken it into my own business and my personal life. A lot of it, it's great. Anybody not in Florida, you missed out. Amy's amazing.
Oh, thanks, Kathy. I paid her to say that, but that's a different. No, but thank you. But the truth of the truth of the matter is, we forget before we start running hard in January that there's a lot that needs to go into your planning. And a big part of it is slowing down, which, if anyone knows me, is probably funny to hear me say those words because I don't do it often, but slowing down and thinking. How you do it is up to you. Me, I do it when I'm running. That's my quiet time, no phone. And Cindy DeCoster, I know you're the same. Find where you can think without judgment and just think what's working, what's not. That's when your ideas will come to you. And do you need to solve it? No, you just need the idea. I want a top producer, something in my network. Don't know how the heck I'm going to do it. Go find someone with passion to spearhead it. Make sense?
I just want to add something.
Yes. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi. Amazing as always. But one thing that I think is very important within Women's Council, and I think a lot of people throughout different networks and states don't realize, that This is not a competition amongst each other. This is a team. We're here to work together. Even if you have a sister network and for somehow you have members that cross over, it's okay. That's your sister. That's your brother. You guys we all are here to get along, and we're all here to share ideas and resources because we're in this together. So I just wanted to share that.
You know, Rebecca, I'm so glad you said that. One of the things that I saw at our summit, and I'm sure across the country, is people raising their hands to help each other and sharing ideas. That's what it's all about. When we play it close to the vest, because we have this great program, we want to be the first one, we're missing out the opportunity to help grow leaders, and that is what we're about. Any other questions or comments before I let you all go? Cindy DeCoster?
Thank you, Amy. You know, I'm always a huge fan of you, and you've been amazing to work with and to have you share with all of us. So thank you so much. I just want to say one thing, and that is, when you lead with the why and what needs to happen, let your leaders surprise you with how they do it. Because oftentimes I think when we're leading people, we want to, tell them how to do things and tell them what needs to be done. And that's not really the job of leading. The job of leading is to drive the why. Like, why are we doing what we're doing? What needs to get done to accomplish that why? And then, man, I'm always blown away by the how they can show up and how they execute. And I'm a huge fan, you know that, and I am super impressed with all of you and the level of how you are showing up and how you are making a difference in each of your networks and each of your members' lives. So thank you so much, and I just big love.
Thanks, Cindy. And Cindy brings up a great point. And Cindy's one of my mentors and always has such strategic things to say, and is one of the people that will tell me the good, bad, and the ugly. And I appreciate and respect that. But she said something very important that I want to share. So if you have the why and you have a team that is figuring out the how, what you can't do is this: walk away, because they might not know how to. They know what their vision is. They can't ready to get there. Stay engaged. Don't stifle them. Don't squash their ideas. Help them develop their plan. That's how you lead, and that's how you develop a leadership bench. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Or I promise I'll let you guys go, although I don't want to. I'm really
One more from Annapolis. You share and fix each other's crowns.
love it.
That's it.
From Annapolis, Maryland.
Yes.
I'm a Baltimore girl, if you didn't hear that accent when I say water. But absolutely right. I love it. Anybody else have anything they want to share? It's Friday. Not yet happy hour, but not far from it. Anybody have anything else? All right. Then I will let everyone.
Hi, Amy.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Amy. It's Victoria from Palm Beach Islands. How are you?
Good, Vic. Well, Victoria, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to say that these past few days have been so eye-opening for me, and it's just amazing and it's so inspiring. The group of women and the speakers that have been on here just really have fulfilled my soul and my heart to realize that even though things sometimes can go up and down, and whatever you're going through in your life, I mean, it's just so inspiring to hear other stories and just the education of it all. I took so much out of this, and I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. That means so much. Thank you for taking the time to share it. And as I said before, real estate can be lonely. We sit in our own offices. That's even more the reason why Women's Council and our network is even more important. We're there to prop each other up, right? Anyone have anything else? All right, then I'm going to wish you all a wonderful Friday. Enjoy the rest of the convention, and I look forward to continuing conversations with you all. Have a wonderful day.